Welcome to the Golf Parent.
What you say?
I'm curious, what's your take on aim point? Do you think that that is the
I think it's
future? Do
great.
you?
Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I personally, I like aim point. I personally prefer there's something called tour read by a guy named Ralph Bauer. It's, if you think about it, aim point is just a math problem. We're just using our arm and calibration to solve the math problem. Ralph's got a system where he teaches you take, and I don't want to give his stuff away too much, but it's you take however many paces times two. So a 9 foot putt is 3 paces times two is six, minus one is five. I know that makes no sense to anyone, but on a 10 stimp, 1% slope, that putt breaks 5 inches from the center of the cup. And it's pretty darn accurate. And I just think that it's
interesting.
easier doing that than having to calibrate your hand and your fingers, just all that stuff. If you think about it, if you and I, even if I had a really fat finger and you had really skinny fingers, we should be doing the same thing. You would just be holding yours closer for one, two skinny fingers than I would be holding further. There should just be a mathematical answer to that, and that's what it is. So I think it's great. I mean, the one thing that I never understood until actually talking with Ralph about this, like he was on me for a couple of years. I want to teach you this. I want to teach you this. And I was just like, I don't care. I'm not playing much golf. Finally started playing a little bit more golf myself and reading greens terribly. And so he finally taught it to me. And I was just like, dude, I just can't feel anything. He's like, fine, you need to go figure out what's the least amount of slope you can feel, which for me is 1.1%. Like I bought the little digital level and like, okay, this is definitely going that way. And very consistently, it was right in that zero point 0.9 to 1.1 range. And then for me to be able to see it, it's about 0.5. That's getting worse now as I'm now 52. And so he's like, if you can't see it and you can't feel it, you just need to play it straight and cross your fingers. Like that literally is one of the hardest putts. Once you get to 8 feet, you want to favor a side. But if it is actually straight and you favor a side from 8 feet, it's going to break away from you. And then you're going to think, oh, imagine a pool table set at 45 degrees. If I had a dead straight putt, but I played it right lip, it would break right. If I had it in the dead straight spot, and you'd be like, oh, I knew it was going to go left, or I knew it was going to go right. I should have played left. No, if you'd played it left side, it would have gone left. So really understanding that sometimes a putt is straight and it's really hard to trust and read, but that doesn't mean you just randomly pick a side. So aim point, tour read, they're all great. Decade, it's the same thing. We're just trying to they're just taking years off your learning curve of having to have the experience of reading a billion putts if you ever even get good at it. The course that again, I'm a terrible green read. The course that I grew up has really flat bent grass greens here in Dallas. Really, you're not good at reading greens? Yeah, because every putt was right or left lip, and there was no grain, and just bang it at the hole. And I just never got any experience reading anything with undulation. I mean, literally until I got to college, and at that point, I'm so far behind the learning curve. You're just never going to catch up unless you just learn a system to do it. Systems solve everything. Systems remove emotion. We don't want to be making emotional decisions out there, and systems just help you follow a process over and over and over again. It's the difference between baking and cooking. Baking, you just follow an exact recipe. If you gave me a good baking recipe, I could probably make a cake just as good as whoever's making it. Not really. But cooking, when you just do a dash of this and a pinch of that, like good luck replicating that's what we're trying to do is get golf is just baking now.
I'm grateful that you asked that question because that leads me, or you said the baking versus cooking analogy, because that's my last question. Where do you think creativity is in the future of the game? As AI, as computer, as data, flight monitors, as all of this keeps getting more and more into our kids and into the golfing game, where's there room for that creativity, that intuition, or is there any?
I don't think there is any. I mean, and that probably makes some people mad. That's fine. I mean, there is part of me that does feel. I mean, honestly, like there's a little bit of me. I don't know that any. I've got a perfect background of being pretty darn good at math. I'm really good at logic. I'm pretty good at sales for my electricity company, and I'm really good at golf. This little combination of I'm not the best at anything, but I'm really good at like four-ish things that combine together. I wish I hadn't created this, but I knew that I did to see what someone else would have created. Because I've tried to punch holes in it. I've tried to, how else do I need to make it better? And I know for a fact there's been over the last 10 years a bunch of people try to create something better. There's a reason there's not a competing product out there. It's pretty hard to make it much better than it is. So I just think creativity, unfortunately, I think it's kind of dead. I mean, if there's a correct answer to the problem, why do I want to try to find some creative artsy answer? Again, you can still feel the shot or do whatever you want to it. But if it's better to just hit a cut on every single shot or draw whatever it is for you, why do I want all of a sudden like, oh, the pin's on the back left, I want to feed this little draw back there? Well, probably just hitting the green in that scenario and two putting it is probably a really good result. Why do we want to try to be creative and outthink this thing just because we have some memory of the game of yesteryear? Like, it's just different. I mean, that's just, and that's, there's probably a million things like that. I mean, especially in sports where I think that looking at the NBA, the scatter plots of shots, it's like all around the 3-point line and then all in the paint. If you're shooting it from like 3 feet inside the 3-point line, you're not going to have a job very long because they're going to get really mad at you for just wasting shots. And so where's the art in that? Like, it's either launch it or tap it, or, or lay it up. Everything else in between is a bad idea.
Well, I'll tell you this: this conversation has been an art form. I've enjoyed it.